Good morning. I'm watching a detective series called Bosch, and this is a series. I've also read books about this detective, Harry Bosch, and of course, like most detective series, he follows the clues to solve the crime. A little bit like Hansel and Gretel following the crumbs. And it's interesting because I find that there is a parallel to our faith in the divine, because that's really who our faith is based in, right? Our faith is not based in the church, though that's part of it. Our faith is not based in the religious community or the religious people in our lives that share our convictions, though that's part of it. But our faith is really lodged in the divine, in God, so that there is no question about, when we move forward, when we're detecting clues, who our faith is based in. And I was thinking about the parallel to the story of Cana. Now, Cana is the place, as many of you know, where Jesus' first miracle took place. It's the city where a family was holding a wedding to which many people were invited, including Jesus and his mother. And so Jesus brought some of his buddies with him, his friends. And sometime during the wedding, while Mary was chatting with the mother of the bride, a steward came up to the hostess and said, "We're running low on wine." Now, that's part of the celebration, right? It's a big deal. You've got to save face, right? You've had this big party and you underestimated the amount of beverages people were enjoying. So Mary says, wait, because she sees the panic across the face of the mother of the hostess. And she goes to Jesus and she says to Jesus, "They're out of wine." And Jesus says to Mary, "Mom, it's not my time yet." Now, what I was thinking about this morning is, what in the world made Mary go to Jesus to propose the problem, to set the problem before him? What clues had she discerned during his childhood? What had she and Joseph chatted about after Jesus fell asleep at night? Things they had observed about the way he was acting in his life, about the problems he solved, about what they understood to be deep in his heart. What clues were there? What led her to ask him this? Then she says, even though he says, no, please, no, it's not my time yet, like a good mother, she turns to the other stewards and she says, "Do whatever he tells you." So she's not dictating. She's also not tying his hands. She's just saying, "I think there's something here. I think he can help the situation." There's enough in her history with Jesus that makes her convinced of that. Do whatever he tells you. And I think about our relationship with the divine. Is there a big ask in your life? Is there a big request that has led you to come to Jesus to ask for help with this big problem? What kind of clues have existed in your relationship with Jesus, with the divine, with God, that bring you to God with this request? And if there are clues that actually bring you to God, then isn't it worth asking? Yeah, but I'm not sure. Am I imposing? Am I asking something too big? So, like, what if I ask and God doesn't come through? Do whatever he tells you, Mary says. Can we approach God with our big requests and allow God to respond freely? Or do we have an ultimate goal in mind? Do we have a plan that God needs to follow in order for us to feel right about having given God our problem? in the asking, when we go forward, asking God this huge thing that's weighing on our heart, we have to be vulnerable in the asking. We have to allow God to respond the way God does. But that vulnerability in actually asking the question allows us to remain open to however the response, whatever manifests. God is not a magician. Poof, you get what you want. Nor a vending machine. You put in the right coins and you get what you want. There's trust involved, right? Vulnerability, where we allow God to respond with the love that God has for us. The reason we brought our request to God in the first place is because there are clues in our story with God that allow us to be convinced that God can do something with this. That vulnerability is key, for it allows us to be responsive and receptive to however God will respond, allowing the love of God to meet us in our greatest need.